All right, let's get more reaction now to the story and speak to Dr. Levy Ndou. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Ndou. We cannot say we did not see this one coming.
Good afternoon to you, Bongiwe. Good afternoon to the viewers at home. Yes, this was coming. I'm quite sure that a lot of people are not surprised. David Mabuza has not been elected to the highest decision-making body of the ANC. And with the alignment of the ANC, of the political office in the party and that of government, one had to expect such to happen. My suspicion is that there could have been a number of other discussions that were taking place between the ANC and Mabuza himself, based on the fact that Mabuza, for me, has actually saved the president's political life. Is David Mabuza in 2017, who came with the Unity Project in the ANC, that at the end, just in the last few minutes of voting, David Mabuza convinced the Mpumalanga province to vote for Cyril Ramaphosa. It was David Mabuza who chose last month at the conference of the ANC in December, who chose not to contest any other position, even though nominated, because in the view of many people, he wanted unity to be the order of the day in the ANC. So one is not surprised that he has actually resigned. And I think as he has resigned, he's actually leaving his office with dignity, because if it was other people, they would have loved to stay on until they are actually pushed. And Mabuza chose not to do so. There could be other factors as well that will relate to his health, which has been an area of concern by many people, ordinary South Africans, and within his party. And I think he leaves a government with all the necessary respect from his party and ordinary citizens in South Africa.
I was listening to one of the clips from the funeral, and I'm going to ask that we play a little bit of it and bring you in, Dr. Swana, on this one, because one of the things that he does say, he says that, you know, in some of the clips, because there's about 4 of them, he says that he respects the president and he's doing this, there is no bad blood and all of that, but there's something interesting that he further says, and I'd like for both of you to listen to it, and I'll come to you, Dr. Swana, in just a moment.
Ngendelalina ngivulela lo khethwe conference ngoba naye ngiyambona uyanyakaza kancane manje nami ngiyasheshisa ukuthi.
All right, some of what he says there, he says that I am paving the way for the one who was elected at Nasrec. And this, of course, I'm contextualizing, you know, from what he's saying. And he says that I can see that he has started making some movements there. So, Mr. Swana, what are you reading into that?
Clearly, I think that many people stated when we were at Nasrec that Paul Mashatile will want to move to the presidency in South Africa of the Republic as quickly as possible. So, so clearly, Paul, within the structures of the ANC, is making movements that David Mabuza is referring to get himself in position for higher office. So that is what it is. And what we perhaps have not said is that David Mabuza, whilst he assisted Cyril Ramaphosa to ascend to power and did that decisively, back at home, he had ballooned Mpumalanga. The number of bogus branches that had filled up the structures of Mpumalanga have since been dissolved. So the very help that he was given to Cyril Ramaphosa was a manufactured help. It was not an authentic help. Those are the things that now have created difficulties in cleaning up the ANC branches, whether it's in Mpumalanga or the Free State and elsewhere, and Northwest and Western Cape and so on. So there are people like that, and he admitted openly that the time for those methods are out. So David Mabuza has lost power in the ANC. So even if he wanted to mount any resistance, both from Cyril's point of view and Mashatile's point of view, David Mabuza is a spent force. So they must have offered him a nice package that he can go somewhere and consume that package comfortably.
And Dr. Ndou, when one looks at the issue of the cabinet reshuffle, it's been talked about for quite some time now. The president in various forms saying that no, please be patient, wait, it's going to come. But how much of a corner? Because yes, he still needs to tell the nation about this particular resignation. But how much of a corner does the fact that it is now known that the deputy president has resigned? How much of a corner does it push him when you're looking at the issues of the cabinet reshuffle?
Well, I think President Ramaphosa appears to be playing mind games, especially with those of us, myself, Sandile, Swana, and many other colleagues who are anxiously waiting for him to make this announcement. He is at the corner because he has no deputy president. He is at the corner because there are two ministers that are not there. He is right at the corner because already Paul Mashatile and Zikalala are already heading to Parliament to be sworn in. He is at the corner because all ordinary South Africans are waiting for him to make an announcement and see the team that he can bring that has a potential to make change. He is at the corner because we want to know what is actually going to do with Pravin Gordhan, who is blamed for a load shedding partially. He's also at the corner because South Africans will love to know where is he going to deploy Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma and Lindiwe Sisulu. So he's at a very, very difficult situation, and that's why we're anxiously waiting to know what is it that is in place that the president can bring to all of us.
And for you, Mr. Swana, are the stakes just as high? Because a lot of talk around whether or not, he reshuffles some of those who openly defied him in Parliament, or does he not? Or who goes and who doesn't go? Will it be those that have been seen over time to be aligned with him, as some have suggested? So how high are the stakes here?
I don't think the stakes, more specifically of Lindiwe Sisulu and Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, are as high as all that. From a different perspective altogether, there are two issues that we need to factor into this. Number one, to the extent that it can be trusted at all, the coming of the EFF to the political rescue, electoral rescue of the ANC is very important. So that panic of losing the 2024 election outright has been substantially reduced. So the pressure that Ramaphosa has now is very different. Is to say, can you put a high-performance cabinet together that can restore the dignity of the liberation movement as a high-performance organization? People like Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma and Lindiwe Sisulu, especially Lindiwe Sisulu, has no track record of good performance. They are not high performers. Secondly, both of them have no legs to stand on. We can't expect much. I think they've delivered the best they could. They need to be retired in any event. So I don't see that much of a pressure. From the side of KZN, it's another side that has been difficult, but again, the EFF has come to the rescue. Now, Zikalala can be accepted as a good proxy representative of KZN to say, KZN, here's something good for you, although it is a bitter pill to swallow, because this is the chap that they chased away from KZN. Now he is their representative somehow, because that is, in a degree, they tend to see politics in that.
And I was going to go there because as you talk about, Sihle Zikalala, just how much of the dynamics also internally when you look at the KwaZulu-Natal ANC in and itself. But let's come to Dr. Ndou. I mean, the fact that, there's been this talk of this cabinet reshuffle for so long. There's been, a number of questions that have been asked by various journalists of whether or not, when is it coming? Do we know? Will the president speak? Do we know when? Let's talk about this. In your view, what could be taking so long?
Well, there could be a number of factors. One of the factors raised is that what Sandile Swana just said now, that whatever decision that the president takes relating to cabinet reshufflement, it should be a team that will inspire confidence. It should be a team that when people respond to the ANC's election vote next year, this team would have made a difference. It will also be a team that would actually be speaking to the message of his party, the ANC, and himself, of bringing in unity in the ANC. Look, there are known members of the ANC who are openly opposed to the president. So whatever decision that the president takes, he has to tread very carefully, because equally he wants to lead a united ANC. At the same time, the president has to come with a team that will also be acceptable to the opposition parties and also to ordinary South Africans. South Africans must see the cabinet reshufflement that is responsive to the challenges that they face on a regular basis. And in my view, you need a team that is going to change the gear and make life much better for South Africans, because there are many challenges that are supposed to be addressed by government leadership.
Gentlemen, do not put your phones far away from you. I suspect it's going to be a busy weekend as we try then to look at what is happening in the political domain. Thank you so much to you both for your time. Do appreciate it. That is Sandile Swana and Dr. Levy Ndou.